I don't think 2020 Chud could have had a go at that, to be honest. But I'm not 2020 Chud anymore. I'm 2024 Chud, okay? And I'm telling you, as the days went by following that night, the narrative of what happened started being formed. I no longer was an annoying sleep partner. I was told I assaulted her and that she's traumatized, which at the time I physically could not even have done. I was recovering from a bout of tendinitis in both of my wrists and had next to no grip or arm strength. Hang on a sec. Why do you need grip strength for a woman? What? So, guys, this is a first. We have got what I'm calling a reverse rape review. Because this isn't actually someone accusing someone of this. It's someone explicitly accusing someone of lying about their allegation. So obviously you see situations where people are like, just broadly, this is wrong, where's the evidence? You know, this doesn't seem right, etc. But no, in this situation, someone is specifically and explicitly being called out for having lied, allegedly, about their allegation in the first place. Oh my God, unbelievable. And for the transphobes in the audience, and for the people that want to joke about my past controversies, it involves a trans individual too. You're going to be loving it, okay? But with that being said, a trans woman's life hangs in the balance. Welcome to another, and watch your headphones, ladies and gentlemen, watch your ears. Welcome to another. But first time on the channel, reverse rape review. So, for those of you that aren't aware, I'll just introduce some of the characters here. So, I'm actually familiar with this Farguth guy. I've seen him floating about before. I think in times past, we may well have followed each other on Twitter. But he has like always been like mixing it up and associating with like the breadtube community, essentially, to put it simply. He's always been like a Twitter poster that goes along those lines. Okay. Now, he is now here calling out someone called EuphoriTori. Now, EuphoriTori, for those of you that don't know, is like a former ally of some of the kind of breadtube like orbiters that exist on Twitter. And you, as the commentary fans, may well know this person because they've previously been associated with a drama involving Tipster. And I believe, yeah, they were a Tipster mod. Whether they still are, I don't know. But at one point they were, I believe, a Tipster mod. And they were involved in the Rainbow Passage controversy. This is where Tipster was pushing this charity, Rainbow Passage, and EuphoriTori was a staff member of Rainbow Passage. So they were kind of associated with the Rainbow Passage drama as a staff member of Rainbow Passage. Okay? Yes, Shelby, that's a good point. I should probably reference that. So there's a previous drama that this EuphoriTori person has been involved. Okay. So this is who we're dealing with. This is EuphoriTori, okay? Don't be serious, chat. Be serious. Be serious, okay? Be serious for a second. Yeah, haha, very funny. Yes, yes, yes. Lol, lol, lol. Okay, anyway. So the previous drama that they were involved in was there was an individual called Eden. Now, Eden was a trans woman who was a very popular poster on X, on social media. Now, Eden tragically took their own life, and that was a product of them basically, you know, being found by private detectives and being sent back to their family, which I believe were from Saudi Arabia. Okay? And going back to their family and not being able to, you know, exhibit their true identity, that was attributed as the reason that this person took their life. Okay? Now, the reason EuphoriTori is relevant in this is because it's claimed that EuphoriTori didn't really know Eden that well, but claimed that they knew Eden closely and posted about it on Twitter for like clout. So they acted like they knew this trans person that had tragically killed themselves in order to elicit clout and attention on social media. And they pretended they were like super close friends with them. But they never were. That was a lie. That was a lie told explicitly to fucking garner attention and clout off of this person killing themselves. So regardless of what your personal take is on trans issues, I mean, that's a pretty crazy thing to do. Even if you don't believe in trans stuff, it's kind of a moot point because the act itself is still what's at play there, you know? Very psychotic behavior. Yeah, exactly. And without going into the kind of post and the details, I think it was pretty well demonstrated that this was the case. And, you know, it was a drama that happened at the time on like kind of lefty Twitter. Anyway, they've taken a break, okay? And they've just come back. And Fargoth has decided, no. EuphoriTori does not just get to come back like that. Not with what Euphori, or whatever the name is, has done. So, I live in America's penis and God has dysphoria and wants to destroy me. So this is obviously some dumb joke about the shape of this graph or whatever, right? And this person called Dumb Cumpster says, it's really good to hear from you after so long and I hope you stay safe. EuphoriTori responds, yeah, I took a pretty long break due to personal issues in my life and moving back to Florida was one of them. I've considered posting here more often, but this site is fairly toxic and filled with right-wingers, so I'm not sure if I'll post here that often. Little did Victoria know that it wasn't the right-wingers to be aware of. It was this guy who I believe is a lefty, Fargoth, who says the following. Alright everyone, since EuphoriTori is back on Twitter, it's time to come forward fully about everything she has done. Tori's victims have talked about all of this privately, and some of you may already be familiar with some or all of this. This is not the first post on the subject, only the first public one. Most of this has stayed behind closed doors, but seeing her return to Twitter as if nothing happened is discouraging. Below is a thread that encompasses an event that I have remained quiet about up until this point. Oh, here we go. I will start by recounting what happened a couple of years ago. Many of us decided to meet in person to attend a Pride event. Wonderful. But that's problem number one. Money off depressed Thank people? You for the kick sub. Eden's first together. During the event, Tori mostly sat on her phone and ignored a stall, but the event went well. That night, Trophy, her husband, Tori, and Tyler, Mithril, not sure who those other people are, shared a hotel room together with 2 beds, Tori sharing one with Tyler. Tori alleged that during the course of the night, Tyler repeatedly groped and assaulted her while the others slept. Okay. This became known to all of us that were there the very next day and shortly after Tori took to Twitter to tell her story. However, this story isn't true. Okay. I guess the question for me is, if this story isn't true, what happened to the original thing? Like, I think they go into it here, but they EuphoriTori put a post out condemning this person as bad, apparently, and as assaulting them. And it's like, well, what happened there? Was the person, like, cancelled, or did they receive a lot of public pushback and criticism? That seems wrong if we're now saying that the story is bunk. So surely this should have come out earlier. This should have come out before. Why is it only now that this is coming out, you know, brought on by this person returning to X? Maybe they explain, but let's continue. I'll allow the victims to speak their side of the story before I include my own, as well as the others that were present in the hotel room that night and their own recollection of events. And we've got quite a long story here. So let's strap in and have a look. Tyler's story. In June of 2022, I was accused of sexually assaulting EuphoriTori during a group meetup during Pride in Columbus, GA. Due to the large number of people staying at the home of Hayden and Bailey, whom I was living with at the time that night. So I think that's I believe Hayden is Fargoth and Bailey is presumably their partner or roommate or something. Anyway, whom I was living with at that time, that night, I asked to crash for the night at the hotel room shared by Trophy, her husband, Turbo, online handles for anonymity, and Tori, who is visiting from Florida. Tori and I were previously flirting over Twitter DMs. I don't think 2020 Chud could have had a go at that, to be honest. But I'm not 2020 Chud anymore. I'm 2024 Chud, okay? And I'm telling you, speaking from past experience, you're on a hiding to nothing, okay? As you found out the hard way. But don't fucking bother, mate. Don't waste your time, all right? Don't waste your fucking time. Anyway. And opted to share a bed. I fell asleep near immediately, around midnight or maybe a little later, in a spooning position I was invited to engage in, and slept almost uninterrupted until morning, around 9 to 10 a.m. to the best of my recollection. Only waking up and having to reposition once or twice due to discomfort. Tori and I both being larger people and sharing a full-size bed. I don't think you need to go into that much detail, but we get the gist, okay? We get the gist. We get the gist, okay? Anyway, I woke up in the morning to Tori sitting in a chair, which I thought nothing of, since she probably just woke up before the rest of us, or that maybe my snoring made it difficult for her to sleep. The trip back to Hayden's house was uneventful, us sharing the backseat of Trophy's car, casual conversation about the day before, general small talk. After I was dropped off and the group mingled for a while, Tori left with Trophy and Turbo about noon, and I received a text message from Tori telling me that I got grabby with her over the night, with no details, and with all the urgency you might expect from telling someone they made a minor faux pas, like chewing gum with their mouth open in front of you, which I had no recollection of, but assuming I must have done it in my sleep, I apologised and went on with my day, albeit uncomfortable that I seemingly annoyed the person I've been flirting with online for the previous few weeks. So this sounds very plausible to me, right? This sounds very plausible that you're spooning someone, regardless of your thoughts on the trans aspect. If you're spooning someone that you've been flirting with, okay, there's a possibility that in the midst of a sleepy night, you might get a bit handsy, okay? So I don't think this seems fairly reasonable. I don't think that this is like assault or rape or something like that. Particularly if they were like asleep at the time. I mean, it's one of those situations that's like, oh, okay, yeah, sorry about that, and you move on, right? Like, I don't know what the standard is for checking this, but like, is this a crime? Could you get arrested for this? I don't know, man. This seems like there'd be a lot of mitigation here that would not make this like an assault. It would just be like a faux pas, like an unintended faux pas or something. So I don't know, dude. It's like, yeah, if you share a bed with someone in close proximity, that may happen. I don't think that's that crazy. Anyway, so I can see already what's going to happen here because this EuphoriTori person is obsessed with Twitter, right? It's why they lied about being friends with someone that had killed themselves for Twitter clout. So I'm sure this gets spun up into some insane story for Twitter likes and stuff. I'm sure that's what happened here, right? As the days went by following that night, the narrative of what happened started being formed. I no longer was an annoying sleep partner. I was told I sexually assaulted her and that she's traumatized and my whole world was crashing down around me over an event I didn't even remember. Okay, that is, yeah, that's a crazy framing of that. That is like fundamentally oh, hey, you did this thing. Oh, sorry about that. And that's it. But instead, it's getting turned into a sexual assault. What? Throw that to the meat of the online left and they'll fucking go to town on that. That's crazy. 1 week, the next day afterward, the night we spent together, she made a large multi-post thread on Twitter, of course, about me. And at this point, to a narrative had shifted from annoying sleep partner to sexual assaulter to rapist. And the thread was filled with details that she hadn't told me or anyone else previously, such as me allegedly holding her down and fondling her crotch. Which at the time I physically could not even have done. I was recovering from a bout of tendinitis in both of my wrists and had next to no grip or arm strength. Hang on a sec. Why do you need grip strength for a woman? What? Hey, dude. What you gripping, pal? What you gripping exactly? What you gripping there? Anyway, look. I know this is very comedic for you from a number of reasons, okay? But can we be real here? Right? This is obviously fucked. So this guy is getting like hauled over the coals with this embellished story for something he very likely didn't do. And if someone can find the thread, I'll take a look at it. But I'm going to go ahead and guess that everyone at the time was going, oh, this is so bad, I'm so sorry for you, and stuff like that. I would bet money that this was fully supported at the time. At the time, of course, I took everything at face value and believed I must have done everything I was accused of in my sleep, to the point I got therapy, a sleep study done under the assumption that I might have some kind of parasomnia that causes sexual activity in my sleep. This is a real thing, by the way. This is actually a thing. There's a form of insomnia. I think XQC, I'm pretty sure, has got this. But there's a form of insomnia that exhibits itself as trying to, engaging in like trying to engage in a sexual act whilst you're asleep. Yes, it is a thing. Rape insomnia. Yeah, I'm pretty sure XQC's spoken about this, right? And people think it's like an excuse or something, but it's like, no, it is a real thing. Like, yeah. Some people can get this issue where they, molest as they sleep. It's like sleepwalking, but for rape, essentially. Anyway, continuing on. Dude, how much money did that cost? Fuck me. Which came back that I just had mild sleep apnea, but nothing out of the ordinary. But regardless of everything pointing towards me not having done anything, I carried on as if I did, under the assumption that I was a monster. Yep, correct. That is exactly what happens on the left. That is precisely right. Oh, a woman has said something happened, or we better believe them without question and without any evidence or proof. That's crazy, but not unexpected. I lost most of my social circle after this event, distanced myself from my more supportive friends, and gave up my small presence online out of guilt and fear. I spent long nights unable to sleep and considered self-harm and suicide many times in the months following this event, knowing that despite never having any intention to cause harm, I did serious harm to someone I cared about. I hate all parties involved in this. I feel bad for this guy. It's funny to laugh at the Goktember memes or whatever, but like, dude, this guy was fucked. Sorry, the Goktober memes. But this guy got fucked, nuked from orbit over what is very likely an awkward, sleepy fumbling, which he seemingly can't even remember. It's tragic for the guy. But to be honest with you, I mean, in some ways, it's a silver lining to the cloud. Because you're better off not mixing it up with these people, because they will destroy you over this sort of thing. 6 months or so after that night, Tori decided to return to my life and forgive me. And I, still taking her story at face value, accepted the invitation. We chat, play games together, and since then she had moved nearby. We even spent Christmas Day together at the Botanical Gardens in Atlanta. Wow, this guy sounds like a giga rapist. Also, why are you going back to be friends with this dude? That seems a bit nuts. Anyway, For me, look, this guy clearly was fucked in the head by this, and he was trying to like take advantage of the I should be use those words carefully. But clearly he was like, oh, I've got a second chance or something like that, and he foolishly accepted it. But the wild thing for me here is EuphoriTori, despite claiming that this guy was this giga rapist, is like willing to spend time with them. Why would you spend time with someone that's raped you like this? This is fucking insane. I thought I was in the presence of the most forgiving woman on earth, but months later, following the passing of Eden, who I lived with during the time I spent with Hayden at Hayden and Bailey's home, Tori, who had taken on the mantle of being the mouthpiece of Eden's whole story, decided that she wasn't actually over what happened with us the previous summer and tried to get me uninvited from Eden's funeral. Fucking hell, dude. Well, this is a fucking mess, isn't it? What the fuck is that about? Jesus. So, I carried on, still racked with guilt and fear of reaching out to anyone I knew online from the same circles I met Tori in. Distanced myself from anything related to Eden's memory, despite the two of us living together less than a year before her death. Bro, that is so insane. So wait, so this person knew Eden more than EuphoriTori was, but they were trying to get them uninvited from Eden's funeral. Fucking hell. That's like diabolical behaviour. Yeah, I think this EuphoriTori person is just a total sack of shit. From what I can gather here. So I carried on, still racked with guilt and a fear of reaching out to anyone I knew online from the same circles I met Tori in. I distanced myself from anything related to Eden's memory, despite the two of us living together for less than a year before her death. In January 2024, I had suffered a breakup that left me stranded in the Portland, Oregon area with no local friends or family. Oh, that is tragic. You don't want to be stranded there. No, thank you. With no local friends or family, with no money to go home with, and in that period, Tori began empathizing with me and flirting with me again in Twitter and Discord DMs, which I reciprocated both out of loneliness and emotional vulnerability and guilt. I mean, yeah, that's obviously insane. He must have been down. He must have been down really fucking bad. Real bad. I cannot even think of levels being down that bad, dude. Dude. I felt like I couldn't turn her down or upset her because of our past. She didn't engage in anything inappropriate with me, but nonetheless I felt like I had an obligation to do right by her, so I went along with it for a time. The shyness is on full display, and I fear it may be getting penetrated, I must say. I continued carrying this guilt until February of 2024, when a group of people, including Clover and others who may or may not come forward about this, informed me that the story Tori created of what happened that night was nothing more than a mishmash of their own Whoa! This is a big moment. Informed me that the story Tori created of what happened that night was nothing more than a mishmash of their own separate stories of sexual assault that they confided in her with when she informed them that I groped her on that night. And the actual extent of what happened is, according to Tori, at one point in the night, she woke up to me asleep with one hand resting on her chest, and that all the other details she later added were picked and chosen from their respective stories to craft a more compelling narrative to get the public reaction she wanted. So we're saying the claim here is EuphoriTori plagiarized a rape story to their own benefit. This is a crazy claim. Okay. For nearly 2 years, I lived under the assumption that in my sleep, I had viciously attacked someone and severely emotionally wounded her, to the point that to this day, I'm terrified to sleep next to someone, regardless of our romantic or sexual status, all over Tori fabricating an assault, using me as a sacrifice to legitimize it, and me being blindsided and too afraid to call it out as it was happening. I got to sit and watch Tori use me as a weapon to win arguments with internet transphobes and to prove her validity as a woman without being able to argue against it, both because no one would believe me and also because until I was informed otherwise, I believed it was true myself. End of Tyler's account. That is fucking insane, dude. And just listening to this and knowing what EuphoriTori has done in the past, I'm already at a point of like, okay, well, this is very plausible. It sounds like a crazy story, but this is the person who lied about being friends with a dead, to garner their own clout, essentially, to make out like they were more clouted than they were. So it's like, I believe this. I believe this is probably true. Even though I don't have proof of it yet, I'm like, yeah, this sounds about right for this EuphoriTori person. I'm struggling to empathize with Tyler due to massive soy. Okay, dude. I mean, I don't know. It's like, I empathize, obviously, listen, guys, I do empathize personally. I'm not saying you have to empathize. But out of the two, obviously EuphoriTori is the most deranged person in this. So it's like, don't get distracted by the soy. Like, obviously EuphoriTori is a totally deranged freak in all of this. Okay, here we go. And so this Clover person also speaks up here. I'm coming forward. My friends here know I'm a sexual assault and rape survivor. I want to believe survivors when they come forward. So when EuphoriTori came into my DMs saying she'd been sexually assaulted, of course I offered her my love and support. When she told me a story, I shared one of my similar experiences with her out of solidarity. She was my friend and my heart hurt for her. So when she started changing her story mid-conversation with me to copy details of my sexual assault, I thought she was just coming to terms with other details that she had blocked out. She knew I was sympathetic and an emotional victim and took advantage of this. See, I feel like that's a bit of a cop-out, and I think, yes, I agree this person is deranged, but why did you not do more at the time to call this out? It feels like, yes, you were taken advantage of in terms of your good nature on this issue. But could you not have done more? It just feels so wrong that this guy got destroyed over this. When apparently there was awareness that this was happening at the time. And this is the product of believing people without any sort of question. This is the outcome of that. Tori copied large details of my sexual assault experience at the hands of Shay when I was 19. She then proceeded to come into my DMs for emotional support several times a day. She'd repeat my stolen story to me, re-traumatizing me. She did this at any time of the day without warning. She eventually went public with stolen details of my story. I tried to support this. She then sent me links to assholes replying to her and picking apart the details. I had to read people describe why I'd consented to being assaulted. I defended her because she was my friend, and I defended this experience because it was nearly verbatim for my own. It was my own. Fucking hell, what a mess. This person's head is totally fucking scrambled. These are the kinds of people that are there cheering on allegations, going, yep, this definitely happened without question. But again, EuphoriTori is, obviously the deranged person in all of this. It took me months to compare DMs with others and realise this. I wish I still had the screenshots. That account is long gone. But I watched, with timestamp convos, as a story evolved. I've spoken to people who were there that day. Tori fucking lied and used me to paint herself as the victim. She tormented me and destroyed my mental health. It took months of additional emotional abuse to see how she was treating me and question this. Why would I question it? Who does this shit? It takes a particular type of evil to do this. It's insane. She did so much more than this too. It was the little things, from her saying that she looked more like a man than I do. So people would reassure her of her femininity. My dysphoria was simply caught in the crossfire. So yeah, I think the EuphoriTori, I've heard this before about this person. of playing the victim Andy card of like, oh, people say I look like a man all the time, so that the replies are flooded with people who are like, oh no, you don't. You look beautiful, Queen. You look great, hun. You look great, hun. It was the big things, like lying about an eating disorder and triggering my own daily. She gave me updates on every meal she skipped. What? Fucking hell, dude. This is like a crazy story. I'd beg her to eat, and she'd go on and on and on about the food she skipped eating. When weeks later I cracked and said, I think you need professional help. I don't think I can help you the degree you need. She told me that she would never open up to her friends about this again, and how she'd keep her suffering to herself so she doesn't bother anyone. She triggered me without warning and guilted me for not being a therapist. There are so many stories. Thank you for those who believed me when I came forward over the past year about this. Your love and support has meant the world to me. I'm not repeating the details of my assault today. I prefer not to relive it again right now. Thank you for respecting this. Okay. Okay. And then we got Andrew's story. And they were in the room when it apparently happens. We've got an eyewitness.
Okay,
We've got an eyewitness,
wonderful.
guys.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Must not have been many messages.
Thank you for the tip. Appreciate it. I was in the room when the alleged essay happened. Okay, this is pretty wild. Tori, Trophy, and I all came to Pride together. At some point, Tyler asked if I was okay to spend the night in our hotel room. We left that totally up to Tori, since she was the one in the room with the bed, and Tyler and Tori had recently been flirting in DMs, and she agreed. We all go back to our hotel room and pretty immediately turn off the lights and all go to sleep. I don't remember the exact time, but it was well after midnight. Maybe it was the social high, but for whatever reason, I couldn't sleep and ended up scrolling on my phone until something like 5 a.m. Not long after the lights went out, Tyler starts snoring, loudly. This went on for hours, with my wife occasionally elbowing me thinking the snoring is coming from me.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
This is like Rashomon for degenerate freaks.
Thank you for the super chat. I spent most of the night rolled over, facing away from everyone, but I didn't hear anything from that side of the room. Besides the aforementioned snoring, on the couple of times I did look over, mostly early on when the snoring started, I didn't see any movement by the glow of the TV. I can confidently say that Tyler fell asleep pretty quickly after we tuned in.
Okay, that's wonderful.
And stayed asleep for the last next few hours
Sorry
that I was
to
awake up to
interrupt,
5
but
a.m.
just wanted to share some love. Threw my neck out this morning eating some really good beef jerky, so I've been stuck in bed most the day. Thought my day would be ruined, but some homies in Chud Nation cheered me up. You got good people here.
Yo, Musty! Thank you for the $100. That's super generous. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. As always, you're an absolute legend. Thank you. Hope your neck gets better soon. How do you do... Okay, how do you get your neck... Is beef jerky that dangerous? You need to be careful with that stuff. Anyway, thank you very much, Musty. Appreciate you. I woke up the next morning around 10, 11 a.m. before checkout time to Tori sitting in the chair. Near the foot of our bed. I asked what she was doing there, and she said something to the effect of not being able to sleep. Later, during our drive home, she mentioned that she had a rough time sleeping and that Tyler grabbed her some in his sleep. My wife and I didn't really react to this much beyond, oh damn, that sucks, I'm sorry. Capacity. From there, Tori kept iterating on what happened that night before, gradually adding more detail and becoming more visibly upset. I'm guessing until it elicited the reaction she wanted. Literally just teasing details about it that you're apparently making up, allegedly. Dude. That's a crazy idea. Could it be true?
Okay, that's wonderful.
Hey, Musty, thanks for the 10 gifted. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Scene Dong 26 became a member.
Thank you. I'll mute those, folks. Just going to go through them. Thank you for the 10 gifted. Appreciate that. Tori was crying a lot by the time we got back to our house, accumulating in my wife holding her as she sobbed on our couch. We offered to let her stay the night at our house, which she took us up on before going home the next day. Right, okay. Tori crying must be quite a sight. Okay, dude, that is very rude. Okay, here we go. And then Fargoth is going to tell his story. My story. At the time, I wanted to house homeless friends of mine as I had the space to do it. Tyler was in a bad situation, so him and Eden were staying at my house. Tyler was devastated after these accusations. I've never seen someone take something this hard, and I remember at the time doing my best to believe Tori, but something was not adding up to me. Tyler is the heaviest sleeper I've ever seen in my life. The man snores like a fucking foghorn. You can hear it throughout the entire house. Andrew confirming that he could not sleep that night because of Tyler's snoring confirmed two things for me. One, that I was not alone. I couldn't sleep much in a house with him either. Two, that Tyler was asleep the entire night. Unlike Tori's accusation that he was up fondling and groping her the entire night. I also watched the effect this all had on Tyler firsthand. No one wants a false allegation, but the sad truth is that they sometimes happen, and I pray that none of you ever have to go through what Tyler went through. He was never the same again after this. We are so fucking lucky that he did not top himself. I know Wednesday, myself and Eden had to talk him off the edge several times throughout this ordeal. False allegations kill, but that did not matter to Tori. Only personal gain. Ooh. Big accusations. Big accusations. Tori had a habit of speaking to a great deal of people about this assault beforehand, prophesizing it down to a minutiae a week in advance. She won't go into detail about what she was afraid would happen, unafraid to delve into the nitty-gritty. Every single person that has come forward to report this is either someone she stole details from after hearing about their own SA trauma, or simply other victims of SA, re-traumatizing them in the process. Here are some screenshots of her prophetic predictions long before the assault occurred. Okay. I wish this was something I never had to worry about. I'm unironically terrified of how easily I could be manipulated and raped. Dude, that sounds like someone getting off on the idea, does it not? What the fuck, dude? That's like fetishistic, it sounds like, almost. Who speaks like that, dude? Who the fuck talks like that? AGP sentence. I'm very skeptical about this idea that it's like, you know, oh, I could be raped so easily. Like, people don't talk like that, bro. That's crazy. You'd say like, I'm very impressionable, or you know, something like that. I would have thought. Yeah, that's mental. That is crazy. Okay. I am incredibly skeptical about this story then. With that's the narrative that they're going with, like, dude. And then it just so happens that they end up in a situation where that thing happens. Yeah, dude, this is fucking nonsense. Yeah, I understand. I don't know what exactly to call it. Maybe a freeze response, but I've just silently gone along with things before it definitely sucks. My fawning response makes me be easily gaslit into believing things. Like someone could lead me on to do things I wouldn't normally consent to. Oh, I'm sorry. Does he know you have a fawning response? No. He went to bed, but I'm going to let him know pretty clearly again what my boundaries are tomorrow. That's good. It's definitely a convo worth having. I just felt like super vulnerable and scared. Honestly, I'll spill a little. I have a fawning response and I have GAD. Now, what is that? What exactly is GAD precisely? With it where I am right now, someone could easily manipulate me and sexually assault and or rape me, and I'd probably go along with it while internally screaming. Oh, generalized anxiety disorder. Dude, this is... Okay, this is like wild stuff to say like this. The way they're saying it is mental. Basically, I was sort of freaked out that, like, what if Tyler wanted to do something and I went along with it while not really consenting but didn't say anything. I've told him directly I don't want anything sexual to happen during our trip, but he's been super flirty and sexual in DMs, so I'm spooked a little. Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, dude. I have anxiety. Okay, I mean, it just... AGP? Question mark? I don't know. It sounds like it, doesn't it? The way they're talking about it is very weird and like almost quasi-fetishized. Very odd. Anyway, Tori lied and co-opted another person's trauma for internet clout, much like how she used the death of my sister Eden. This is not the first time she has torn others down mercilessly to make herself a victim, and it will not be the last. This is why I've compiled their stories here, her victims, but this is not even remotely the extent of the damage she has done. A follow-up thread has been compiled to be posted at a later date to allow people to adjust fully the weight of what she has done with this before moving on to the other incidents of similar impact. We'll be covering everything. Yo! We got content for days with this one. I want to thank Tori's victims, Tyler and Clover, for allowing and trusting me to compile all of this to be made public. I ask you all respect their privacy and the effect this has had on them. Dude. What the actual fuck? This is gonna be a fucking multi-tweet affair. I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, there's no hard proof of any of this, but at the very least, you've got some DMs that show some kind of weird messages here. Also, we got eyewitnesses here. I think that EuphoriTori probably did this. This adds up to me. Yeah, I think I believe this on its face. I guess we'll see what else they'll bring forward. But yeah, I think I'm on board with this. Well, most normal Tipster mod, I don't know if there's still a Tipster mod, but they were at one point, I'm sure. My guess is Tori probably won't respond to this. I'm pretty sure the Eden stuff was ignored at the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if this just gets flat ignored.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Trans grape is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you for the $2.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Floppy Dong became a member. Floppy Dong celebrates 2 months of membership. Happy Goktober.
Thank you for the membership, Floppy Dong. Not a single person should be shocked if this person is terrible. The human embodiment of a Funyun bag with a porn addiction used to get validated under every selfie by other porn addicts. Super obvious they were stuck in an echo chamber and lied for validation. I mean, he's kind of spitting there, isn't he? I mean,